My latest EP, Homeward, produced by Greg Ashley, it's still available to stream and purchase digitally and on cassette. Still got cassettes left. They're running out. You can find that and more of my music on iTunes, Spotify, and Bandcamp.com, not to mention on my website, mark-nelsen.com. Nelson spelled N-E-L-S-E-N. Fuck you, autocorrect. Yeah, there you can find all my solo and band music and music news.
Checking in with Mark Nelsen.
Can you hear the beat?
Test, 1, 2, check.
Checking with Mark Nelsen.
Welcome back, Northerners, Southerners, Western tweeners. Why not tweakers, too? We'll leave all you Easterners out, of course. No, just kidding. We love you over there. Show love for the show, and we'll love you even more. This is the second edition of Checking Out, the tour-exclusive version of my Checking In with Mark Nelsen podcast. I'm on the road supporting my new Homeward EP and video, as you already may know, and I'm still in Seattle, now in the farm, the FUNKFARM. The FUNKFARM is the headquarters for Guy Keltner and his band Fox and the Law. Guy is my guest on today's show, today's episode, and the last time I was here was with Electric Shepherd last December for FUNKFARM's first annual Holiday Freakout Fest. Glad to be back, 6-7 months later. And it's a hot summer instead of the dreary winter. We were up here to support the split single we did with Fox and the Law, our song Glass Devil Blues, matching their song Drops of Water. We drove back home, straight shot to SF the next day, complete with sleep deprivation, hangovers, and icy roads. It was like 15 hours. God knows why. I think it had something to do with day jobs. Anyway, that was a good time. So let's talk to Guy. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
Cool.
This is cool.
We're in the, we're truly like in like the core of the farm.
We
like,
really are. The belly of it.
I'm looking at some drums, some Fender amps, a Sun amp, and even a Bassman, an old Bassman amp that I got to play earlier.
You don't smoke in podcasts?
Not yet. I guess this would be a good debut to do that, but
You've
I
already
think I'm
been
okay.
smoking. No?
I'll tell you.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
That's good. You got to keep that audio in there, too.
Happy birthday to myself.
Yeah, it's almost your birthday in like 20 minutes.
No.
Or was that today?
No, it's tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
25?
25.
Shitty, man.
I'm up here
You're
for
no
a quarter
longer-
life crisis, Guy. This is not to tour in support of anything but a quarter life crisis.
You don't get to use being young as an excuse anymore.
Maybe not. I mean, they say 30 is the new 20, but I think that's a bunch of bullshit. But why not, What do you think about that? 30 is the new 20?
I don't really want to ever think about my age holding me down in any way. I mean, I know I will at some point, but
For sure.
I think like right now, I just kind of hope to always live, in some capacity, the same thing I would just have done. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm old now, so I'm going to do this.
No, for sure, yeah.
Maybe if I get like pancreatic cancer or something, I'll be singing a different tune.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so we're down here in Fox and the Law's rehearsal studio.
So this is a really cool spot because when we moved into this house, it was already lucky enough to find the house because it's on Capitol Hill and there's nobody in a full house out here. It's mostly like anybody that's doing music or doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
They're just hard to find. Everybody's like splitting the houses up into like, 2 or 3 units for a house this size. Cool. So like this, where you're at, this would be cut up into like 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms or something.
That's cool.
I don't know. It's cool. It's just, it's getting really gentrified out here. So there's no more bungalows anymore.
But you've utilized the house.
But yeah, we got lucky and found one for pretty cheap. And when we were first here, it was unfurnished. So the neighbors couldn't stand us because we play 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
There's 2 or 3 bands at any time practicing here. And we have some friends that had a DIY spot called the Ballard Mine.
Okay.
And they would throw like keggers there and have bands play kind of under the radar shows. Like they had the guy from Mudhoney, the dudes from Mudhoney were playing there.
Oh, cool.
The first time I ever went.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a cool spot, DIY space. And they got the rent jacked up on them because Ballard's also getting really gentrified out here and it's kind of expensive. Mm-hmm. So they kind of moved all the stuff out to, the main dude's house and it got rained. It flooded down there. Oh, okay. So while we were on tour, he's like, hey, I want to store all my stuff down here. And we came back and they had totally refurbished the whole basement to this. They built all this paneling on the ceiling, these like crazy sound treated, pyramid things.
Yeah.
So
awesome, man. Well,
since then we've had all their gear and kind of been,
Yeah, you've really done a good job with the place.
Yeah, it's cool.
What's your favorite amp to play in here when you're playing guitar?
Well, I'm the bassman usually.
Yeah?
That's mine.
Sweet.
But that Sun amp that Ryan just got is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It sounds cool. It's not really like my sound.
Yeah.
But it's fun to like play and just get in. I don't know, to have like 412, speakers. 412 is crazy.
Fucking gorgeous, dude. When was it exactly that the FUNKFARM came to be? Was it a pre-existing inspiration to want to do something like that, like a collective / label?
Well, I've always wanted a label to. I wanted to have a label to put out my own music.
Yeah,
so
and that's what FUNKFARM is.
Just to kind of incorporate, not just to put out my music, but anybody that we dig or people that we see eye to eye with. If there's a project we really like and can find the resources to do it. Okay. Because it's not even just about having money. It's about having the drive to like make something like that take off. You know?
Dude. Yeah.
So I think we just kind of figured out that having something like FUNKFARM would be just a good overarching label for what we do, which isn't just like putting out our records or doing those studio sessions. I mean, we throw events in town.
Yeah.
And we're starting to get more active with that. I think it's really going to pick up. Yeah. And now that I'm working, at a venue out here, it's really helped me get experience on like the real numbers associated with throwing, live talent in general and booking talent and that sort of thing.
For sure, dude. What's the venue you work for again?
Numos.
So was FUNKFARM your idea, like the name and everything?
It's been me. There's a few people involved there.
Yeah, who
my buddy Nate. That I think you met him last time. Tall ginger dude.
Oh, maybe.
It's cool. But Nate and I worked together for a long time, and me and his girlfriend at the time, and a few other people. My buddy Drew that you just met, he cooked for us tonight.
Oh yeah.
We would get together and just kind of be working on stuff. We're all really artistic, or want to be involved in art in some way, and have
for sure.
So we started just knocking around different crazy ideas and trying them out. And the sessions kind of grew out of that because we were going to do a podcast too, which we recorded a few episodes.
Yeah.
We put out Empty Cases as FUNKFARM. Yeah, it's been a really cool experience just seeing what we're good at. I mean, we're not good at a lot of stuff, but that's the fun of it,
Yeah.
We're good at a few things, and we're getting better at those things.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I just see it as another. The more income we're making off of this sort of thing, it's another step closer to eventually it just being my full-time job.
Oh yeah.
So that's cool.
I think you're on the right path.
I can't complain about that. I'm pretty comfortable up here right now.
And working the venue.
Yeah, the venue's pretty
helps
cool
immensely.
too. It's changed my whole worldview. Unbelievably so. Like, I think some people take acid and some people go like to Europe, right?
Yeah.
And I stayed home in Seattle and started working for a venue.
Yeah, dude.
You know, I didn't go to like South America and go into a jungle and come out like, oh, things have changed. Like,
Yeah.
I already feel completely different after. I haven't even been here quite a year, and I just approach everything differently now.
Yeah, dude,
Social
it's great.
situations, and
Tell me about that. Like, what do you do at this venue exactly?
I do all their marketing.
Oh, okay.
So that's just it's a mix of things. It's a mid-level venue, so you're talking bands that are on their way up right now. Like, we had Haim right before. As things were breaking, we had Haim. You know.
Okay.
We have Thurston Moore coming in the fall.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Black Lips did a sold-out show a couple months ago, like I told you about.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just that up-and-coming. I guess Thurston Moore's not really up-and-coming, but you know, things like Black Lips and like Haim and ASAP Ferg came through. Those are the kind of artists we really love to get. And then we also get I don't want to call them fading artists, but just acts that are, you know, from another era will come through. I mean, we did Slick Rick, and that was a pretty crazy show to have.
Sick, dude.
So stuff like that too.
Yeah.
But it's a cool ass venue to work for. I've always loved it. It was a big deal to me a few years back when there was just a lot of talent bubbling up in town in Seattle, and Neumos kind of played a big role in that. I mean, at least they were, you know, the spot where a lot of bands played and a lot of things went down.
Okay.
Neumos was really an integral role in me just kind of getting into music out here, going to it. When Jack White first started the Raconteurs, that was where they played.
Oh, okay.
And then Capitol Hill Block Party is a huge event during the summertime. And that's like Neumos is the epicenter of that, pretty much, like that that street corner that it's on.
I've never seen it. I should drive down there tomorrow
it's like the
and check it out.
Yeah, it's the busiest street corner in town. So,
all right.
I mean, not, you know, aside from like when downtown at rush hour and stuff like that, but it's the nightlife epicenter right now. So,
I mean, I know Block Party. I've obviously never seen it firsthand, but I've always known about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. So just being around that has been really interesting because I think I had one idea of how things worked.
It's great, dude.
And even within a couple months, I saw things just like, oh wow, that's a stupid idea that I had, you know.
Okay.
But it also let me experiment because it's one of the larger independently owned venues on the West Coast. So I think it's the biggest one on the West Coast. Like not AEG, not a major company that owns it. So that means like I have bosses that just let me experiment with stuff.
Yeah,
So if I want to try something for a show, they do it. Like they've incorporated FUNKFARM doing video before. You know, we shot Starfucker on New Year's Eve.
Oh wow! Okay.
So we went and saw Starfucker play on New Year's Eve and did video of that. It was so fucking cool. And then Andrew WK just came for Rainfest.
Oh man!
So we shot video of that. And
cool,
did some
dude.
stuff.
Wow, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, there's cool
happening.
shit, and we'll be at Block Party this year, and we're gonna be trying to get in. I want to see if we can get Chromeo.
Okay,
That'd be really cool.
Huh. Sick, dude.
But yeah, it's been a cool thing, and I already knew a lot of people around town, so it wasn't like I needed a reason to meet everyone else, you know. But I think it's kind of changed my relationship with people, and kind of really learned how to. I mean, it takes a lot to make a music scene work.
Yeah,
and I'm really learning how important certain people are to that, you know. And it just I have even more respect for certain folks that I know in town that are just really make this place unique.
Yeah, dude.
So that's cool.
That's great to hear, man. Congrats on that, on all of that. Like,
not to bash San Francisco, but I think that's what makes this place better is shit like that.
oh, okay. So we're already.
I'm already
going down
throwing down the gauntlet. So yeah, let's be unpredictable on this thing right now. What are your usual questions that you ask?
So I mean, the jumping in.
I've got a sharp tongue about me in here.
Yeah. Obviously, I have my own opinions on San Francisco. It's where I'm from. Just like you're a Seattle native, correct?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
We were talking about that.
Why do you think Seattle is doing better things than SF?
I don't want to go and attack SF. So I mean, it's a bigger city. It's different issues. You know, it's different growing pains. And I mean, fuck it. We're gonna probably be there in a few years.
be there?
Well, we'll be in the same situation.
Oh, okay.
And it's just, you guys are a huge metropolitan area.
Yeah.
And that's going to create this sort of demand right now to have this cosmopolitan lifestyle for the guys who are making money.
Yeah.
And there's certainly a lot of haves and have-nots right now. And you're from a spot where it's extremely apparent in a different way. And it's made it difficult to exist in that city. You know that, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
every day.
I mean, I grew up out here, but I spent a lot of time in California. My whole family, my mom's side of the family, all lives down there.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
So they're
That's
all
right.
in LA, and we spent time up in San Francisco quite a bit. And I've just kind of seen it over the years change since I was a kid. And it's gotten, I mean, it was always kind of a little bit like that, right? But I think, dude, lately.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Like, I know Seattle's sort of a tech town. I mean, there's Microsoft up here, but SF
it's
is
spread
like,
out. It's, it's a little different.
Yeah, SF is like burgeoning. It's like it's at the forefront of all this crap. And, a lot of artists I've talked to, a lot of friends of mine, like, attack the techies, and I guess they have to go ahead and do that. I have my own.
I don't think they need to be attacked.
I
mean, they're keeping. The sad part is there's parts of town that are just never going to be what they used to be, and that's how that works. We'll find somewhere else. If Seattle ever becomes like San Francisco, I'm sure Tacoma is going to get really cool.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, a lot of people are saying the East Bay is is the next thing, and
it's still the East Bay. It's still the East Bay right now.
Yeah, Oakland's always had a really cool thing going on. Anyway, do you think we have to work with the techies or like technology in order to keep up with what we can do with the scene?
My big argument's always been just educating people. So I'm more of that knowledge. Like, I think there's money coming in right now, and the only thing I see failing and this is just pretty consistent nationwide, is education. Like, I'm not trying to sound like the political person, going on about education, but it does come down to it. Like, the difference between people I know that live in, I don't want to bash other towns, but Seattle's really unique because we do have the San Francisco vibe where there's a lot of tech money there.
Yes.
So it's able to help fund a lot of shit.
Yes.
And what's great about the scene, and actually to compliment San Francisco as well, is that you have money that's able to go into schools. So when you go there, you're not just focused on passing these standardized tests and all this stuff. They can teach you about music. They can teach you about culture. Yeah. And you can absorb a lot of it. I think that's really what makes Seattle great, is just how culturally unique it can be. We're isolated in some ways, yet still connected to the world. People are really focused on trying to be artistic and trying to do something new. And people have a really huge appreciation for art. And I think my only thing about San Francisco that bugs me is when you go down there now, because it's getting so gentrified, there's no real big effort going down to preserve it in the same way.
Okay.
And it's not as fierce.
Well, people are trying. I think
it's just the money's so powerful. It's such a powerful agent of change that you can't. I mean, money's going to trump that, and money's not being thrown around the same way up here. Yeah. There are some similarities, and there's things that are definitely going to change that. Like Capitol Hill, if anything, this is like an experiment in what's going on in San Francisco. I don't know if you noticed all the cranes.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. Sure. There is construction I work next to 4 major, within a block of 4 major construction projects that are just either wrapping up or just underway right now. Yeah. And it's nuts because that used to be industrial. That was just like this shitty neighborhood. There was a bunch of industrial buildings around there. We're kind of by downtown, kind of by the Central District, which is not the greatest neighborhood. It's getting better, but and now it's kind of these super expensive apartments. Like I was hearing this story about a studio apartment around here costing they're asking for $1,800 a month for a studio. And it's a tiny studio.
Experimentation, no doubt.
Yeah, it's starting to get, that's not necessarily New York prices. Yeah. But we're not on Manhattan. We're in Seattle, and that's kind of crazy to see that happening.
So Seattle, I mean, so you're saying there are these experiments, things. Do you think they'll succeed in changing it? Do you think?
Oh, dude, that's going to win. Yeah, I mean, it's already Capitol Hill. Unless we have an economic collapse in this region. Which, I mean, who knows? Mount Rainier could explode and things we could be fucked. But
But you still think money's going into these artistic
I just
outlets
enjoy the
more
fact
than
that I can wear
more than San Francisco.
Yeah, and it's more the uniqueness. Okay, San Francisco still feels like a world city, so you guys are still embracing these huge things. You have better theater and you can do stuff like that. You're a major market, so
I guess I'm just learning more about.
You'll sell
Seattle
out.
right
You'll
now.
sell out shows differently than we will. Like all these bands that I try to get in here that 300 people won't buy a ticket to, that I'm really into, that are on their up and up.
Yeah.
San Francisco will catch on to that first. The Bay Area will, because bigger market, people are going to come out for that.
Okay.
So that's great. You guys can do that, but
I'll give that the benefit of the doubt.
yeah.
I'm
not trying to attack your
No,
town at all. I'm just explaining why over the years
I
I've
don't
come to
necessarily
really.
think you are. I'm just
Yeah.
I guess I just want to learn more about. This is nice talking.
So
I wanna
it's
learn more
affordable
about
up here.
Seattle.
So let's get back to that. It's affordable up here.
Yeah.
Which means you can attract a certain type of artist that you just couldn't do in San Francisco. And that's
I
it.
guess
There's
it is
people
more
out here
affordable.
that are willing to function off of the environment they're in and just live comfortably on top of being creative. And it allows you a little more room to do that. It's not Portland
Thank
cheap,
God, man.
but it's still doing things for people. If you got your little thing worked out, your deal, your sweet deal in town.
Yeah,
Like us
dude.
with this house, I see a lot of situations similar to ours where somebody's found out the deal and figured out how to exist comfortably here. It's great.
All right, man.
And there's just these really great, unique moments. Like, I can't even put my finger on it. I mean, Derek and I were living in a
Are people living-
2-bedroom, and I was paying like $675 for my room and it had a bathroom in the room.
Oh my
Still a small place, but can you believe that shit?
God,
And that's
what
up
I'm
here.
talking
That's
about,
cheap though, because that was like the fucking drug den, fuck pad for recently single
Yeah.
people. That kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like young, just turned 21. I'm
Yeah.
living at this fucking shithole.
Yeah.
It's an old building. The building's like built in 1901, and they never done a major renovation on it. But then there's neighborhoods like I used to live in Greenwood, and I paid $8. It was for the whole place. It was $800 that I split with somebody, and it was this huge 1-bedroom.
But see,
Just in a
that's the
cracking
thing, man.
neighborhood. It was amazing. So there's you can't do that in San Francisco.
No,
right now.
yeah, 800 gets you
Yeah.
a closet.
And you can get a fucking house out here. Like a lot of
Yeah.
Ballard has house.
Yeah.
Ryan used to live in a fucking beach house.
Wow,
That was where when Fox and the Law first started playing together,
Yeah.
we would go over to Ryan's house.
that was your practice
And
spot.
it was it was our backup practice spot.
Oh,
It was
man.
because he had his huge closet, like a storage closet that you could fit a drum set in.
Wow.
Like you had to
Yeah.
you had to move the drum set around to get around it to get
Yeah.
out of the place.
All
But
right.
we were so broke around then that he was the only one with like a consistent place that he was living, and I had an apartment for a
Mm-hmm.
while too. So if we didn't have a rehearsal space, this is actually a good story. When Dan joined the band, he was still going to UW and was in the jazz combo, and was he was a music major
Okay.
there, so he had a key to their big like rehearsal space for the jazz combo, and he always had his drum set up there anyways. So we'd come and practice all the time and just crank it,
Dude,
and didn't
nice.
give a fuck. We'd do it in the middle of the night anyways. But this one day, it had been months that we had been there, and this older lady comes busting in and is like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? I have been trying to figure out who the fuck's been rehearsing here. I'm hearing stories of you guys, and you're not authorized." And she's like, "Are all of you students?" And Ryan's like, "Ish, I don't know, most of us." None of us are still
man.
going there, yeah. So we got booted from there, and that was just an example of a situation where we ended up back at Ryan's closet.
Wow.
But still, that house was still pretty big, and it was right on the beach, and he was paying like $500 a month for his room, like nothing.
Good God.
Yeah, just nothing.
Cool, man.
To live on, and that's
amazing.
it was great. That was such a cool spot.
Yeah, I like this town, dude. I like this town. Each time I've come up here, it's good vibes.
It's great.
So yeah, let's talk about Fox and the Law. You are the lead singer and one of the 2 guitar players.
Yeah.
And
I'm
are
mostly
you the
around.
primary songwriter?
Yeah, right now I am at least. I hope one day that we're all pulling a queen.
For sure.
But
When did you guys start up?
god damn, 2010. Okay, my dad passed away.
Oh,
And then right around that time, I was kind of, it wasn't that I wasn't doing great, but, I just was kind of, what am I going to do with my life? And I was in another band at the time. that we weren't getting along. You know, I was in this like four or five piece at any given time band that I was in for years called Shoddy. Those guys are great. They're still living in LA. They're down there now. Okay. But it just wasn't working out. So I had a buddy that had some recording time. Not even record. He's a music major up at Western Washington University in Bellingham. And so he invited us up to record. He had like a tape machine that he was learning how to use. And we came up to their student studio they have, and which is like in the basement of this dormitory, like the ground level. And we would just, drink whiskey all night and smoke a bunch of pot and do these demos. I had these like gritty garage rock songs. So I did that with some friends from the band that I was in, Shoddy. Okay. To these two guys, Richie and Miles, and then they did the original rhythm section, and it was just like a 3-piece. I mean, mainly it was an idea because that band that we were in at the time was just. It was in a weird period, when everybody was kind of uptight, and so we played music a certain way, and I hadn't really done the like let your hair down, chug a fifth of whiskey on stage and do a guitar solo type of thing. Yeah. Okay. So I was really into that, and our first show was at this place in town called the Black Lodge. Okay. And
I've heard of the Black Lodge.
Yeah, the Black Lodge.
Cool.
So it was just a real smoky room. You used to be able to smoke pot in the Black Lodge, and you can still BYOB. It's one of those spots that you just. Dude, I saw Fuzz there. Ago. Yeah, that was great.
A couple weeks ago?
No, a couple months ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was not more than a year ago when they were first doing that too. Yeah, I don't know why they played the fucking Black Lodge, but it was awesome.
Cool, dude. Yeah.
So we did our first show there, and it was killer. Like it was just a new type of thing for me, and it was off the cuff, and songs weren't verse chorus verse chorus verse. It was like you could solo, you could jam, you could do this like 70s stadium rock thing or the garage thing. So it felt good. And I just started looking. I needed guys that I could just tighten up with. So over the years, I've always just been looking for that crew that, if we want to do that stuff on stage, we really get along. The vibe's there, and we have fun together. And I think that's kind of where we're at now. So over the years, I picked. Dan was first. He was Dan and Ryan, Ryan's not in the band anymore, but I still live with him. Okay. And he's doing the Grizzled Mighty now. Right. But once I got Dan and Ryan, things really started to click. And Patrick came a little while later. And he's great. Patrick's the old man in the band, the old soul. So funny. And Pete was the most recent guy. Pete had never been in a band before this, which is crazy.
Really?
Because when he started playing with us, we were. At least in town, we'll do like a 500 capacity venue or do some of the festivals and play some bigger shows. So I think that was really daunting for somebody who's never even cut their teeth playing live to just be at a really large crowd.
So your first show at the Black Lodge, did you go under Fox? Did you go by Fox and the Law?
I think so. I think that was what we did. We had name issues in the beginning. I mean, I don't even know why the fuck we're Fox and the Law. Honestly, it's a stupid fucking name.
What inspired the name?
I used to Miles, that guy that I was telling you, he used to be very like the law in the room, the cops.
Okay.
Okay. Laying down the law.
Yeah.
Dan still kind of is. Dan still is. Honestly, if Dan's mad at you, you really fucked up if Dan's mad at you. So he's still the law.
All right. All right, I'll buy that. And you're Guy Fawkes, no less. A little pun there.
I guess, yeah, sort of. So that's it. That's really, that makes sense. We're about to drop this record in a couple months, and then got an EP after that. And
oh wow!
We're already writing the next record, so hopefully by the time the EP drops, we're ready to get the next thing in the can.
That's fucking.
So
excellent,
we're gonna be on that same schedule. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Let's talk about your upcoming releases.
So Stoned to Death is the name of the record.
Awesome.
It's I'm really happy with it. I think this is the first time I've ever been just listening to the record and kind of, it's not autopilot. It's just, I feel like I'm just living that moment. Yeah. I'm not forcing anything. I'm not trying to seem cooler or whatever. We're just being us again, but doing it how we, this is really what we want to do. I don't think we're taking too many cues from like, oh, that seems cool right now. Let's do that. It's just doing our thing. Yeah, and it feels good. And
I dig
people
the new
are digging
song. Cheap Talk that you just dropped.
That beat, man.
Yeah.
I took acid when we were demoing the record.
Oh, okay.
And just kept You know, I had an acoustic guitar that I'm walking around with playing that riff over and over again and bugging the crap out of the guys. But then we just kept playing. We all kept playing, you know, and it turned into that song. And we wrote a bunch of songs that weekend when we were out doing demos and hanging out on the beach. And it was so fun, dude.
That's rad.
So that's just this record. It was just us having fun together and really getting along and just kind of enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, and being stoned to death.
Yeah.
You walked out, but it don't mean much. Chuck it off. Bad words and suicide. I bet you talk that talk.
I quit drinking recently.
You quit drinking?
Yeah, totally.
Weren't you just drinking beer upstairs?
No.
Oh, you're just
I
smoking.
had water. I was smoking weed.
You're just wrong. Huh.
Yeah. Don't drink anymore.
Damn. Did you have was there an issue at first?
Fuck, dude. I don't know. I guess you've never really seen me wasted. No, did you?
I don't know.
Ever?
I saw you having a great time
I was
at the
hammered at
freak
the
out.
freak out. Yeah. So you've seen me wasted.
But you seem pretty together from what I remember.
Yeah, totally.
There's so much happening.
Okay,
that
so it
night.
wasn't that bad. Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, maybe I won't be done drinking forever. But right now, it's easy to just be a fucking mess on stage and in your life. And it's not even my definition of a mess might not be someone else's definition of a mess, but I don't even want to be a piece of a mess, you know.
No, yeah.
Or have messy moments. Yeah. And that's what was happening. I think with the new job, you know, working at a venue, you're around bars all day. You're around bartenders. You're at venues. You're drinking. You know, so you have every excuse to want to drink. Yeah, dude. You know, and it's hard to. I'm gonna be honest. Some music fucking sucks without a beer in your hand. You know, no joke. There's some shows that are just
fucking A.
Holy shit. You know, you get 6 drinks in you, and this is the top of the world.
Yeah.
So I think it was time to kind of take a little break, and I'm enjoying music differently now. It's not like it's subdued, but there's definitely I'm a little more picky about what I'm going out to.
Okay.
And when I do, I really, really enjoy it now. It's different.
And what are some of your biggest influences? What do you listen to a lot these days?
You asshole. Stock influence. Stock influence number 1.
Stock influence number 1.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's got to be stadium rock.
Man, I get influences from everywhere. It's not even just music anymore. You know, I think for a time,
I
don't know. I hope it's never been just music. I'm
not be.
influenced by this city a whole hell of a lot, and by my family. You know, those cheesy ass things to say.
Okay.
But it's true. Jack White.
Jack White?
Hell yeah.
I can hear it, yeah.
I mean, I was coming of age when those records were coming
Yeah,
out.
same here, man.
I was hitting puberty.
Yeah.
As, you know, Elephant came out the year I started masturbating. No, I'm just kidding. Probably. I don't know.
That's a profound
moment. I had to have been masturbating younger than that. But still, that's like I was getting laid for the first time when, you know, a lot of his records were still all that shit, you know, made a difference. You know, that guy has had an incredible career, and that's what I want. And so that's a huge influence. Just seeing what he's done with Third Man.
Absolutely, man.
You know,
he's number 1 for me.
Yeah.
In many ways.
There's a lot of reasons that guy's changed what I'm doing, and he's doing it himself.
Yeah.
You know, nobody can say that lately except for him and a few people.
Oh yeah,
you know?
he's constantly evolving.
So I mean, there's that. There's other influences out there. You know, I love Ty Segall just because the prolific nature.
Yeah.
It's not even always the music.
He's definitely
sometimes
prolific,
he's
yeah.
super underwhelming, but
Yeah.
I can't get enough of it.
Yeah,
I'll
dude.
still get every goddamn record.
Cool.
Seems like I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and they're gonna announce another one.
So FUNKFARM's putting out this upcoming LP, and then
Yeah.
The British label that you just
Oh, Failure by Design. Those
Yeah.
guys are great.
you just became.
They're gonna
part
do
of
the
their-
same. They're doing the LP too. Out
okay.
there on their end.
Cool.
So we're gonna have releases from both ends of the pond, both sides of the pond.
Okay. So stay on the lookout for that. Stoned to Death by Fox and the Law. We'll see it in October, correct?
God willing, man. Yeah, it'll be out in October.
Cool, man. Last year in December, there was the first annual Holiday Freakout Fest. And Guy and FUNKFARM were the curators, along with, what was the studio? Tireman Studios?
Tire Man did all the artwork,
Okay.
and Shogo did those shirts you saw.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
But I mean, we had a lot of people. I mean, it's a collective. It's FUNKFARM. I mean, it really was FUNKFARM's thing and a collective of people involved in it. You know?
Yeah.
And if anything, that was just a weekend for everybody to come together and just see what we've been trying to do and kind of see the community we're trying to create.
Yeah.
So that's what that whole thing was about. I think we picked a time when nothing's going on. It's December, so unless you're going to like some crazy holiday show, Built to Spill did 3 nights at Nemo's.
Yeah. Cool.
But if you're not doing that, there's not a lot going on that's not family oriented.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do something that kind of capped off the year. Most, focused on local stuff in Portland. It's not hard to drive. That happened to be hard to drive between Portland and Seattle at that point. But you saw it was rainy and stuff. It's not really snowy like it was out there for you guys.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to really try
it was
to.
a little rainy, yeah.
I don't think we're going to try and focus on bigger West Coast acts unless we can fly them in. That's for sure. I'm not going to get beyond our britches this year. But we really want to just bring together the artists we're friends with, that we've gotten to know on tour, that we've gotten to know, that we've, I think we, originally wanted to do one of those Psych Fest things.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Austin Psych Fest is, but it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's different. It's kind of just a party for the musician types, for all the
Sure.
artists out here. There's a lot of those in Seattle.
Oh, well, there was a
And there's a lot
diverse
of those-
lineup of bands. Like, you guys even had some rappers, too, right?
We did a hip hop
It
stage.
was like So it was for 2 days or just one day?
It was
I
2
forget
days.
Now. Yeah,
It was 2 days.
and spread out
There was 5 venues,
between
last year.
different venues, all in Capitol
all
Hill.
in Capitol Hill.
Yeah,
The house was kind of the epicenter because we had people staying here all weekend.
yeah,
And then we were going out and doing these, 200, 400 capacity venues. One of them was like 100 capacity. And we just partied together, Different artists got to meet each other that wouldn't have, and it did well, We made our money back.
awesome, dude.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go
recorded all the
I didn't have to go
performances?
and write a fat check at the end out of my bank account.
Yeah,
And
guys
we recorded
all
a
the-
bunch of it.
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna put out a compilation eventually.
sick.
I think we'll do it right before the freak out this year. A couple months
great
before,
idea.
and have a compilation drop just to show what we did last year
Yeah, that's
and
excellent.
get people stoked about it. It's great. It's fun, and I don't know how we're gonna approach it this year. We may not record it the same way. We may just do a couple of bands. We'll see what happens. It was really stressful doing it last year, but
So,
it
yeah.
was just a good idea to just get our feet wet. Like, what are we about? And I think now that we kind of have a better idea about that, we're just gonna represent what we've been doing this year. This year's been a different playing field. We might move it to Ballard this year. That's what it's looking like, and we'll take over a few venues over there and do some good music, have some great moments.
Yeah,
It's really all about socializing, and I think we're trying to encourage any band from out of town to come stay with us. To come stay with friends.
Sweet.
To do something like that, to really get outside of your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
It was fucking 15 degrees last year.
yeah, man.
It was freezing as hell, and everyone just got drunk and had a good old time, and it was a party.
We had a great time despite our situation the next day, or like even before coming up. But man, it was worth the show. Everything, that drive, that experience.
And it was different kind of acts, It was a lot of just like stupid hipster kids playing metal and playing.
Yeah.
But it was fun as hell.
No,
I
it's
loved
inspiring, man. Seeing what
Tango
you're doing
killed
with
it. Tango Off a Tango played at the Highline.
Yeah.
The night before you played. You guys missed that night. I was bummed.
Yeah.
But they played the Highline the night before, and they just shredded. A lot of people there hadn't seen them, and it was. And then I have a friends band, the Tea Cozies, that got back together, and First time I saw the Tea Cozies, they opened up for Ty Segall in town.
Oh, okay.
And the Pharmacy was on that.
Oh, I know the Pharmacy.
Yeah. So Tea Cozies got back together to play that show, the Freak Out, and it was fun as hell seeing them.
Yeah, dude.
I'm excited for this year. I don't know who's on it quite yet. I mean, I at least can't say yet, but it'll be cool.
All right, man. So, Guy Keltner is here. He's going to play a song for us now. So, tell us a little bit about the song you're going to play us.
Ripped Off it was just kind of, I have this old classical guitar. I'm not playing it right now, but I love to write music on it, and I keep it at my girlfriend's place right now.
Okay.
It's just really, it's always tuned down. It's really kind of warm sounding and comfortable, and usually when I'm writing there, it's like late at night or it's in the morning. It's kind of that first morning thing you're doing. I don't know, just fucking around. So it's one of those songs I wrote doing that. And it's got that feel, and it's just really about kind of how disappointed I've been with certain things in my life, where I think you get to a point where you're done being disappointed, and you stop feeling bad about it. You just kind of there's no feeling. You're neutral, and it's almost more sad. It's almost more sad than when you let things eat at you. So yeah, it's kind of just summing up that feeling you feel, and this is the product of more like relationship-y stuff, not with my current girlfriend, but just things in the past. I still think about shit from the past. I dwell on stuff,
of course, yeah.
So this is me dwelling on old shit that I probably shouldn't, but it's cool to tap that and just write about it at least, and let it just come out later. That way I'm not being negative, and it's not just some sort of, I deal with things differently, I guess.
Yeah,
I deal with things like an artist does, which is hopefully positive.
The void of disappointment.
So yeah, let's fucking do it. Let's get set up. Don't look away. I know you're lying. Everything gets colder. The melody is dying. Whenever your heart rips open, I hope that your eyes cry dry for me. I'll burn alive. What a lovely thought. You took everything you ever could. Now that I'm forgotten, whenever your heart rips open, I hope that your eyes cry dry for me. Whenever your heart rips open,
Great song, man. Great song. Stay tuned yet again for the next record, the upcoming record by Fox and the Law. Stoned to Death. Yeah, thanks for being on the show, Guy.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, dude.
It was a total pleasure.
Yeah, dude.
I think that was just fun. That was great.
All right. I'm glad to hear.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.